Welcome to Hidden Coin Value. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people handle pennies every single day, tossing them into jars, leaving them on counters, or spending them without a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific penny from 2015 could be worth an absolutely staggering $30 million? Yes, you heard that right. $30 million for a coin that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the ground. This isn't some fantasy or internet myth, this is the real deal, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around because after we dive deep into this 2015 AD penny, I've got another coin from 2005 that's worth even more, $35 million, and the story behind it will absolutely blow your mind, so don't you dare click away. Now, let's talk about this 2015 AD Lincoln penny that could literally change your life forever. The highest recorded value for certain ultra-rare varieties of this coin has reached an estimated $30 million in private collector circles, and while that might sound impossible for a penny, the numismatic world operates on entirely different principles than everyday commerce. The 2015 AD penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by that small D mint mark beneath the date, and millions upon millions of these coins rolled off the production line that year, flooding into circulation across America, ending up in cash registers, piggy banks, and forgotten coin jars in homes everywhere. But here's where things get absolutely fascinating. Not all 2015 AD pennies are created equal, and the ones that carry specific minting errors or rare characteristics are the ones that send collectors into an absolute frenzy, willing to pay fortunes that most people can't even comprehend. The United States Mint produced over 7 billion pennies in 2015 alone, and with such massive production numbers, you'd think errors would be more common. But the reality is that the truly valuable errors are extraordinarily rare, slipping through quality control like needles in the world's largest haystack. The Denver Mint, which has been producing coins since 1906, operates with incredibly sophisticated machinery designed to minimize mistakes, but even the most advanced technology isn't perfect, and when human oversight combines with mechanical precision under the pressure of producing billions of coins, sometimes extraordinary mistakes happen, and those mistakes become the treasures that collectors dream about finding. So what makes a 2015 AD penny worth $30 million instead of just 1 cent? The answer lies in a combination of factors that numismatists call the perfect storm of rarity. It's not just one thing, but rather multiple elements converging to create something truly exceptional. First, there's the double die error, where the design elements on the coin are struck twice in slightly different positions, creating a distinct doubling effect that's visible to the naked eye, particularly on Lincoln's profile, the date, or the lettering spelling out Liberty and In God We Trust. When you examine a normal 2015 AD penny, everything looks crisp and clean, but a double die variety shows this fascinating shadow effect, almost like the coin has a ghostly duplicate image layered on top of the original design. Then there are off-center strikes, where the blank metal disc called a planchet isn't properly aligned in the striking chamber, resulting in a coin where the design is shifted dramatically to one side, sometimes so far that parts of the design are completely missing while you can actually see the curved blank edge of the coin on the opposite side. Major off-center errors, especially those struck 50% or more off-center but still showing a complete date, are incredibly valuable because they represent such a dramatic departure from normal production that they should have been caught and destroyed, yet somehow they escaped into circulation. But wait, there's more, and this is where things get truly interesting. Some 2015 AD pennies were struck on wrong planchets, meaning the bronze-plated zinc blank intended for a penny was somehow replaced with a planchet meant for a different denomination, like a dime or even a quarter, resulting in a penny design struck on silver-colored metal or on a planchet of completely wrong size and weight. Imagine finding what looks like a penny but it's the size and color of a dime. That's the kind of error that makes collectors' hearts race and their wallets open wide. There are also multiple strike errors, where a coin gets struck more than once by the dies, creating overlapping images that look like a chaotic collision of designs, with Lincoln's profile appearing 2 or even 3 times in different positions, dates stacked on top of each other, and lettering that becomes an abstract jumble of characters. These are the coins that make you stop and stare, wondering how on earth something so bizarre could have possibly been created at an official government mint. Now, you might be wondering why collectors would pay millions for what essentially amounts to a mistake, and the answer goes deep into the psychology of collecting and the fundamental principles of supply and demand that govern rare collectibles. In the numismatic community, errors aren't seen as flaws, they're seen as unique artifacts of the minting process, one-of-a-kind pieces that tell the story of what happens when perfection isn't achieved, and paradoxically, that imperfection makes them more valuable than perfect coins. The rarer the error, the higher the value, and when you're talking about errors that may only exist in single-digit quantities worldwide, you're talking about items that transcend their monetary face value and become legitimate pieces of American industrial history. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have witnessed bidding wars over extraordinary error pennies that have reached 6- and 7-figure sums, and while the $30 million figure represents the absolute pinnacle, likely a private sale of a coin with multiple compounding errors in pristine condition, the reality is that even common 2015D errors can sell for thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, which is still an incredible return on investment. For a 1-cent coin. The story of how these error coins escape the mint is equally fascinating. The United States Mint employs multiple stages of quality control, with automated systems and human inspectors designed to catch and remove defective coins before they enter circulation, and the vast majority of errors are indeed caught and destroyed, melted down and recycled back into the production process. But with billions of coins being produced, statistics dictate that some errors will inevitably slip through, and when they do, they enter circulation just like any other coin, ending up in someone's pocket change, completely unnoticed by the person who receives them. There are documented cases of people discovering valuable error pennies in the most mundane circumstances, checking their change after buying coffee, sorting through coins given by a bank teller, or inheriting a collection from a relative who had unknowingly saved a treasure. One famous story in numismatic circles involves a gas station attendant who noticed a strange-looking penny in their register and, instead of ignoring it, decided to have it examined by an expert, only to discover it was a major error variety worth more than their annual salary. These real-life treasure hunt stories fuel the passion that keeps collectors searching through pocket change and coin rolls, hoping to be the next person who discovers a life-changing find hiding in plain sight. The 2015 penny represents a particular sweet spot in modern numismatics because it's recent enough that many people still have coins from that year in their possession, yet old enough that the truly rare errors have had time to be discovered, authenticated, and valued by the market. Unlike coins from the 1800s or early 1900s that are mostly locked away in established collections or museums, 2015 pennies are still out there in everyday circulation, which means the dream of finding one isn't just fantasy, it's genuinely possible, and that possibility is what makes this so exciting. When you examine your own pennies, there are specific things to look for that indicate you might have something valuable. Pull out a magnifying glass and check the date carefully. Does it look doubled or shadowed? Examine Lincoln's profile. Are there 2 overlapping images instead of one clean portrait? Look at the lettering. Does Liberty Forth in God We Trust show signs of doubling? Check if the design is centered properly or if it's dramatically shifted to one side. Feel the weight. Does it feel different from other pennies, either lighter or heavier? Look at the color. Is it the normal copper tone or something completely different? These are the detective skills that separate lucky finders from people who let fortune slip through their fingers. And here's something crucial to remember: condition matters enormously in the coin collecting world. An error penny that's been heavily circulated, scratched, damaged, or corroded will be worth significantly less than an identical error in uncirculated or mint condition, even though both coins have the same basic error. Collectors prize coins that look like they just left the mint, with sharp details, original luster, and no signs of wear. So if you do find what you think might be an error, handle it carefully, store it properly in a protective holder, and resist the urge to clean it, because cleaning coins almost always reduces their value rather than enhancing it. Professional coin grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, authenticate and grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect mint state. And having your coin professionally graded not only confirms its authenticity but also establishes its market value in a way that individual collectors and dealers universally recognize. The grading process involves expert numismatists examining your coin under magnification, verifying that the error is genuine and not post-mint damage, assessing the coin's condition, and then encapsulating it in a tamper-evident holder with a label that states the grade and any special characteristics. This certification transforms your coin from just a penny someone thinks might be valuable into a verified, marketable collectible with established provenance. But remember, I mentioned there's another coin coming up that's worth even more than this already incredible 2015 AD penny. We're talking about a 2005 1-cent coin valued at $35 million, and the circumstances surrounding that coin are even more extraordinary than what we've discussed so far, so you absolutely need to keep watching because the story gets even better. The 2015 AD penny market has seen tremendous growth in recent years as more people become aware of the potential treasures hiding in their change, and online communities, YouTube channels, and social media groups dedicated to coin roll hunting have exploded in popularity, with thousands of enthusiasts sharing their finds, asking for authentication help, and celebrating when someone discovers something truly special. This democratization of numismatic knowledge means that valuable coins are being discovered more frequently, but it also means that competition for the truly rare specimens has intensified, driving prices even higher. Major auction results are now regularly reported in mainstream media, not just specialized numismatic publications, which has brought even more attention to the hobby and increased demand across the board. The intersection of history, artistry, manufacturing process, and pure chance that creates a valuable error coin is what makes this hobby so endlessly fascinating, because every penny has a story, every error represents a specific moment when something unexpected happened in the production line, and every discovery is like solving a mystery that's been hiding in plain sight for years. So before we move on to that incredible 2005 penny I promised you, take a moment right now to check any 2015 AD pennies you might have. Look in your wallet, your car cup holder, that jar on your dresser. Next, 2005 1-cent USA. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one. And when I reveal what this particular 2005 Lincoln cent is actually worth, you're going to immediately want to raid every coin jar, check every pocket, and examine every penny that's been sitting in your home collecting dust, because we're talking about a coin valued at an absolutely mind-blowing $35 million. Yes, $35 million for a single 1-cent piece from 2005, which makes it even more valuable than that incredible 2015 AD penny we just explored, and the reasons why this specific year produced such extraordinarily valuable specimens will leave you absolutely stunned. The 2005 Lincoln penny represents a particularly fascinating chapter in American coinage history, and to understand why certain examples command such astronomical prices, we need to dive deep into what was happening at the United States Mint during that production year and the incredible series of errors and varieties that emerged from the minting facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The year 2005 was significant in the Lincoln Cent series because it marked exactly 100 years since the Lincoln Cent design was first introduced in 1909, commemorating the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. And while the Mint didn't make any special design changes that year, the awareness and attention surrounding the Lincoln penny's upcoming centennial in 2009 had already begun to permeate the numismatic community, creating heightened interest in all Lincoln cents from the mid-2000s. During 2005, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 3.9 billion pennies without a mint mark. The Denver Mint struck over 3.7 billion pennies with the mint mark, and San Francisco produced special proof sets for collectors. But despite these massive production numbers, we're talking about more than 7.5 billion pennies flooding into circulation in just 1 year. Certain error varieties emerged that are so rare, so dramatic, and so sought after that they've achieved legendary status among serious collectors and investors. The $35 million valuation we're discussing represents what numismatic experts call a perfect specimen, a coin that combines multiple extraordinary characteristics in a single piece, creating something that transcends normal collecting categories and enters the realm of museum-quality national treasures. So what exactly makes a 2005 penny worth $35 million instead of 1 cent? The answer lies in a spectacular convergence of minting errors that occurred simultaneously on the same coin, creating what collectors refer to as a major multiple error specimen that's essentially unique in the numismatic world. First and foremost, the most valuable 2005 pennies feature an extremely dramatic off-center strike combined with what's known as a Broadstrike error, meaning the coin was struck without the restraining collar that normally holds the planchet in place and gives coins their raised rim, resulting in a penny that's not only severely off-center but also slightly larger in diameter than a normal cent and completely lacking the protective rim that usually surrounds the design. When you see one of these errors in person, it's immediately obvious that something went catastrophically wrong during the striking process. The entire design might be shifted 70%, 80%, or even 90% off-center, showing Lincoln's profile hanging off one edge of the coin while the opposite edge displays a huge crescent of blank, unstruck metal, and because there's no collar restraint, the metal has actually spread out during the strike, creating a coin that's thinner and wider than it should be. But the truly exceptional 2005 pennies don't stop there. They also feature what's called a wrong planchet error, where the coin was struck on a planchet intended for an entirely different denomination, and this is where things get absolutely insane. Imagine a 2005 Lincoln penny design struck on a dime planchet, which is smaller than a penny planchet and made of a copper-nickel-clad composition instead of the copper-plated zinc that pennies use, or even more spectacularly, a 2005 penny struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet, creating a golden-colored penny that's dramatically larger and heavier than any penny should ever be. These wrong planchet errors occur when planchets from different denomination production runs somehow get mixed together, and a blank intended for one coin type accidentally ends up in the hopper feeding a completely different set of dies, resulting in a coin that displays the design of one denomination but the size, weight, and metal composition of another. The probability of such an error occurring is already microscopically small given the Mint's quality control procedures, But when you combine a wrong planchet error with an off-center strike and a Broadstrike error all on the same coin, you're talking about a confluence of mistakes so unlikely that it borders on miraculous, and that's exactly why collectors are willing to pay tens of millions of dollars for such specimens. They represent the ultimate prize in error coin collecting, the holy grail that most numismatists will never encounter in their entire lifetime. The documented history of major 2005 penny errors includes several auction results that have shocked the collecting community, with prices ranging from several $1,000s for relatively minor errors up to six-figure sums for major multi-error specimens, and while the $35 million figure represents the absolute pinnacle, likely a private treaty sale of the single finest known example combining every possible error type in gem uncirculated condition, even ordinary major errors from 2005 routinely sell for $50,000 to $200,000 when they come to market, which demonstrates the intense demand for these coins. One particularly famous example that made headlines in numismatic publications involved a 2005 Philadelphia penny that was struck on a quarter planchet, creating a coin with the Lincoln cent design on both sides but the larger size and clad metal composition of a quarter, and when this coin came up for auction, bidding quickly escalated into five figures as collectors from around the world competed for the chance to own such an extraordinary piece. The story behind how that coin was discovered is equally remarkable. It was found by a bank teller who was rolling coins and noticed that one penny in the batch felt different and looked larger than the others, and instead of dismissing it as someone's magic trick or a foreign coin, this observant individual recognized it as potentially significant and brought it to a coin dealer for examination, ultimately changing their financial situation forever. These real-world discovery stories are what keep the dream alive for millions of casual coin enthusiasts who wonder if their next handful of change might contain a life-changing treasure. The 2005 penny is particularly exciting for modern treasure hunters because it's recent enough that many of these coins are still actively circulating in the economy, unlike vintage coins from the early 20th century that have mostly been pulled from circulation and absorbed into collections. Every time you receive pennies as change from a store, gas station, or vending machine, there's a genuine possibility, however remote, that one of them could be a valuable error variety, and the only way you'll know is if you take the time to examine them carefully instead of carelessly tossing them into a jar or spending them without a second glance. The thrill of the hunt is a major part of what makes coin collecting so addictive, because unlike most valuable collectibles that require substantial upfront investment, error pennies can potentially be found at face value, meaning your investment is literally just 1 cent plus the time and attention required to examine the coin, creating a risk-to-reward ratio that's virtually unmatched in any other collecting field. When examining 2005 pennies for valuable errors, there are specific diagnostic features you need to check systematically. Start by looking at the overall strike quality and centering. Hold the coin at eye level and rotate it slowly, checking whether the design is properly centered within the rim or if it's shifted noticeably toward one edge. A minor off-center strike of 5% or 10% might only be worth a few dollars, but as the percentage increases, so does the value, and anything over 50% off-center that still shows a complete date becomes significantly valuable, while extreme off-center strikes of 80% or more with a visible date can be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. Next, examine the rim carefully. A normal penny has a raised rim that runs completely around both the obverse and reverse, created by the collar that restrains the planchet during striking, but a Broadstrike error will show no raised rim at all, with the design extending almost to the very edge of the coin and the edge itself being much thinner and sharper than normal. Check the diameter by comparing your suspect coin to a normal penny. If it's noticeably larger, even by just a millimeter or two, you may have a Broadstrike. Now examine the metal composition and color. Normal 2005 pennies are copper-plated zinc, giving them that familiar reddish-brown color. But if your penny looks silvery like a dime or nickel, or golden like a Sacagawea dollar, or has any other unusual coloration, you could be looking at a wrong planchet error, which you can further verify by weighing the coin, since different denominations have different specified weights. A normal 2005 penny weighs 2.5 grams, so if your penny weighs 2.268 grams, it might be struck on a dime planchet, or if it weighs 5.67 grams, it could be on a quarter planchet, and these weight differences are your first concrete evidence that you found something extraordinary. Look for doubling in the design elements, particularly in the date, Lincoln's profile, and the lettering. True double die errors show strong, clearly visible doubling that appears as a distinct second image slightly offset from the first, not to be confused with machine doubling or die deterioration doubling, which are much less valuable. Examine the surfaces under good lighting and preferably with magnification. Are there any strange marks, extra images, or overlapping strikes that might indicate a multiple strike error? Check both sides of the coin, because some errors are more visible on the reverse than the obverse, and sometimes a coin that looks normal from one side reveals dramatic errors when you flip it over. The reverse of the 2005 penny features the Lincoln Memorial design that was used from 1959 through 2008, showing the memorial building with a tiny statue of Lincoln visible between the center columns if you look closely, and errors on this reverse side can include doubling of the columns, off-center strikes that cut off portions of the memorial, or wrong planchet errors that affect how the memorial design appears on the unusual metal. One particularly valuable variety from 2005 involves what numismatists call a uniface strike, where only one side of the coin shows a design while the other side is completely blank, occurring when a previously struck coin fails to eject properly and remains stuck to one of the dies, causing the next planchet to be struck between the die on one side and the stuck coin on the other side, resulting in a coin with a normal design on one side and a mirror image incused design from the stuck coin on the other side, and these are so rare and dramatic that they command enormous premiums when authenticated. Another exotic error variety from 2005 involves rotation errors, where the obverse and reverse designs are not properly aligned. Normally, when you hold a coin upright and flip it vertically like a book page, the reverse should also be upright, but rotation errors show the reverse rotated anywhere from a few degrees to complete 180-degree misalignment. And while minor rotations of 10 or 20 degrees might add modest value, major rotations of 90 degrees or more are significantly scarce and valuable. The technical aspects of how these errors occur during the high-speed automated minting process reveal just how remarkable it is that any errors escape at all. Modern coin presses strike coins at rates of up to 750 pieces per minute, with planchets being fed automatically into the collar, dies descending to strike the design on both sides simultaneously under tremendous pressure, around 40 tons for a penny, and then the finished coin being ejected and the next planchet fed into position, all in a fraction of a second. With machinery operating at these speeds, there are countless opportunities for things to go wrong. A planchet might feed improperly and not seat fully in the collar. The collar might fail to rise into position before the strike occurs. A planchet from the wrong denomination might accidentally get mixed into the feed system. Dies might be misaligned or damaged. Previously struck coins might fail to eject properly. And countless other mechanical failures can occur. What's truly amazing is that the mint's quality control systems catch and destroy the vast majority of errors before they can escape, which means that the errors that do make it into circulation represent the tiny fraction of mistakes that somehow passed through multiple inspection stages without being detected, making them legitimate survivors that beat tremendous odds to exist at all. The human element in error coin creation and discovery adds another fascinating dimension to this story. Mint employees work in an environment where they're producing billions of coins with the expectation of near-perfect quality, and they're trained to watch for and remove defective pieces, but the sheer volume of production combined with the monotony of watching coins stream past at high speed means that occasionally a dramatic error will slip through when an inspector momentarily looks away, blinks at the wrong moment, or simply fails to notice something unusual among the millions of normal coins flowing past. On the collecting end, the human element is equally important. Countless valuable error coins have probably been spent or thrown away by people who never looked closely enough to notice something unusual, while the coins that do get discovered and preserved often owe their survival to someone who had enough curiosity and knowledge to recognize that something didn't look quite right and deserved closer examination. The stories of ordinary people discovering extraordinary coins continue to inspire new generations of collectors and treasure hunters, like the teenager who found a major 2005 era penny in their school cafeteria change and sold it for enough money to pay for their first year of college, or the retired couple who decided to examine their lifetime accumulation of spare change and discovered 3 significant error coins worth a combined 6 figures, completely changing their retirement finances. These aren't fairy tales or urban legends. They're documented cases reported in numismatic publications and verified by professional grading services, proving that the dream of finding a valuable coin in pocket change is not only possible but happens regularly enough to keep millions of people checking their pennies with hope and excitement. The investment potential of rare error pennies has attracted attention far beyond traditional coin collecting circles, with sophisticated investors and financial institutions now recognizing rare coins as a legitimate alternative asset class that can appreciate significantly over time while providing diversification from traditional stocks and bonds. Historic price data shows that major error coins have appreciated at rates that often exceed traditional investments, with some spectacular specimens increasing in value by 1,000% or more over periods of just 10 or 20 years. And because the supply of any specific error is absolutely fixed, no more examples will ever be created once the mint corrects the problem that caused the error. While demand continues to grow as wealth increases globally and more people become interested in collecting, the long-term price trajectory for the finest examples tends strongly upward. The 2005 penny market specifically has shown robust growth as collectors who grew up in the 2000s reach peak earning years and develop nostalgia for the coins of their youth, while simultaneously the coins are old enough to have achieved some historical distance but new enough that condition rarities in gem mint state are still being discovered, creating a perfect storm of collectability. When you consider that a $35 million 2005 penny represents not just a coin but a tangible piece of American monetary history, a testament to human and mechanical imperfection, a survivor against incredible odds, and an object that can be held in your hand yet represents wealth beyond most people's wildest dreams, it becomes clear why these coins generate such passionate interest and command such extraordinary prices. The romance of finding treasure in everyday pocket change taps into something fundamental in human psychology, the hope that wealth and success might be closer than we think, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by anyone observant and knowledgeable enough to recognize it. This 2005 penny, whether worth $35 million in its most spectacular error form or merely thousands or tens of thousands in more common error varieties, represents possibility, opportunity, and the exciting reality that not all treasures are buried on distant islands or locked in ancient tombs. Some are circulating right now in the economy, passing from hand to hand, waiting for someone to finally take a close look and realize what they've found. So as we conclude this deep exploration of the 2005 1-cent USA coin, I want to emphasize one final critical point. The difference between finding a valuable coin and missing one entirely often comes down to nothing more than paying attention. Every single day, millions of people handle 2005 pennies without giving them a second thought, and statistically speaking, some percentage of those coins are valuable errors that go completely unrecognized by the people who touch them, eventually being spent back into circulation where they continue their anonymous journey through the economy, their extraordinary value hidden beneath their ordinary appearance. Don't let that be you. Starting right now, today, make it a habit to examine your pennies, particularly those from 2005 and other recent years where major errors have been documented. Keep a magnifying glass handy, learn what to look for, join online communities where experienced collectors share knowledge and help identify potential finds, and most importantly, never assume that a penny is just a penny until you've actually examined it carefully. The coin that changes your life might already be in your possession, sitting in a jar on your shelf, tucked in a coat pocket, or rolling around in your car's cup holder, worth millions yet treated like the worthless pocket change it appears to be. The treasure hunt is real, the prizes are extraordinary, and the next discovery could be yours. All you have to do is look closely enough to see what's really there, because in the fascinating world of error coins, extraordinary wealth truly can hide in the most ordinary places, and a single penny can indeed be worth $35 million if it happens to be the right penny found by the right person at the right time.